Prime Minister Loong says Singapore will have to implement a carbon tax or a cap and trade scheme to send the right price signals if there is a global regime to curb carbon emissions. Mr. Lee raised this point at the Singapore Energy Lecture, where he also highlighted the importance of nuclear energy.
When there are more green appliances, consumers may use them more often, thereby increasing overall electrical consumption. So there's a need to impose a charge to induce consumers to use less energy. The Prime Minister says this is part of Singapore's strategy for the future energy landscape.
And if there's a global regime to curb carbon emissions, and that means that Singapore will have to reduce our own emissions more sharply than we are doing now, in order to comply with international obligations, then we will have to make the carbon price explicit to send the right price signals.
An analyst Channel News Asia spoke to say it's not easy to figure out how a carbon tax will impact businesses and consumers here in Singapore, as not enough details are available for now. However, green activists say they welcome the idea. One suggestion given is to invest the money collected towards energy research.
Currently, the energy tariff is a flat figure. So if you use more, you pay more. Perhaps one way of moving forward from that is to divide households into low energy users, average energy users, and high energy users. And basically, the high energy users will actually be subject to a higher tariff.
India, which is Asia's third largest energy consumer, already has a carbon tax. Countries like Japan and South Korea are considering it. Meanwhile, Mr. Lee says there are many uncertainties surrounding the energy climate. So Singapore is diversifying its energy supplies as well as investing in energy research. He also notes that the nuclear option cannot be totally dismissed.
And there's often strong resistance in countries, from the green movement, from populations who have witnessed accidents like Chernobyl and are fearful and anxious about their safety. But if we look at this rationally, without nuclear energy, the world cannot make sufficient progress in dealing with global warming.
Mr. Lee says it will be a long time before Singapore takes any decision on nuclear energy, but it should ready itself to do so.
Elsewhere